Hello everyone, I'm Riverfox and welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, thank you very much for stopping by. Don't forget to click our like down below and smash that subscribe before you go. And if you turn on the notification bell, then you will always get updated of all my daily content when it comes out. If you do buy anything in the item store, please consider using code Riverfox as it will help me out a great deal. But today I am in my Stonewood home base. If you may remember, some time ago I did do a live stream of my Stonewood Endurance, which I did complete with 100% of zero combat. I didn't shoot a single husk. I did make the mistake of using defenders with neon snipers, which at one point did literally blow up my entire trap tunnels. All of that over there completely gone, so I did have to rebuild that during the actual endurance. But apart from that, everything went perfectly to plan. I didn't even have to shoot any of the mini bosses when they came. They all got dealt with by the trap. So I thought I would go through today and show you all my build for my Stonewood Endurance, because quite a few of you have been commenting recently and asking for advice and tips on the Stonewood Endurance, so I thought I would go through today and do that with you. So we're going to make a start, and we're going to go over and have a look at the main amplifier over there. Okay, so this is our main amplifier. Now you will notice I've got jump pads and directional pads placed everywhere just to get around quite easy, so make sure you do put plenty of those in, because it is quite a long way to be going from one amplifier to the next when they change. But it will always start off at this amplifier, and it will always start from the east. So if I go over here first of all, now all the wood that you see everywhere is literally just lobber shields to stop the lobbers and flingers. But for the main amplifier, then they will always spawn around this sort of spot, around this area. They can either go in through here, they may go in through there, and if they take the long way round, then they may go up there as well. So we'll start over here. Literally it is just sort of wall launchers, a couple of broadsides put in as well, wall darts, wooden floor spikes, and of course my infamous gas traps. And we do have our wall dynamos and retractable floor spikes as well. So literally everywhere is going to be set to push them back at every point that you can, because when they get round here, they will get hit by this launcher into that one. I did at one point when I first done it, I did have another wall launcher set on here to fling them back into this pit, this sort of timeout room, but when all that over there got destroyed and I had to rebuild it, I probably rebuilt an extra structure somewhere, and somehow I've lost this one here. So it is a good idea to put another one on that spot. If they do come up from this way, then again we have more timeout rooms and launchers. They won't tend to walk round this way. They will normally go straight this way because it is the shortest distance to the amplifier. This I left this bit in over here in case they happen to walk around this part and come through here, but they're more likely go straight down this direction if they do. Over here then, now this bit is, you don't really need this bit, to be honest. I don't think you need this bit at all. They don't even really make it that far because they will tend to come up that ramp. If they get knocked back and they come back round, then they're more likely to go straight through this point here. And go around. I've put it in there just in case, so that if they do, then they will just fall back down this way anyway and go around that way. So that is the main amplifier. Now our next one then is Amplifier A, which is over there, and for this one they will spawn in a few different spots. The main spot is right underneath this that they will spawn, but they will also annoyingly spawn in here. If I just open this up for a moment, they will spawn in these little spots down here, and they were forever breaking things and causing it to break. That I put those little bits up there just to hopefully make them drop down to the bottom. Now again, they will spawn at the very top of this sometimes, which is extremely annoying. So I put all this big box around it so that when they do spawn, they would just drop down to the bottom. One thing I didn't note, I'll briefly go into so we don't have to go back to it. When you do your endurance, I do strongly advise that you do use a constructor with some trap durability perks on it. Because you will find that traps will run out. But if you place your base on this square here, then it will strengthen this whole area up, and it will make it that little bit stronger. But over here then, if we get down here, they will spawn around about this spot. I'm not actually sure what that one's doing in there. They will spawn around this spot, so they will sometimes go up there, but not very often. Normally they will make their way directly towards this. Any of those that do spawn up the top there will all fall down here. If they fall down this side, then we have all this lot from before anyway, so that will sort them out. And if they fall down here, then they will go on to this direction. I left this one wall out because they kept on falling down and somehow getting themselves trapped behind there and breaking it anyway, so I left it out. If they do come around, then they've got to go all the way around all of this to get out. And if they do come in from this main direction, then they've got two different directions they'll go, which wall launchers and darts everywhere to help fling them back and stop them getting through. If we do get the occasional one that seemed to like spawning over here, they would spawn up at this point sometimes, and also annoyingly they will spawn around here, so I set all these up as well. Okay, so that is Amplifier A. Now the next one that we've got over here then is Amplifier D. Now this, you will see, is the only one I've actually built around, and the reason I built around this one is because this is where the final wave, where you have all the mini bosses and everything which spawn in, and in my case it was 3 smasher mini bosses, so I just wanted to make sure that one was fully protected. But every other amplifier I haven't built around those at all. If they come in for this one, now I left this square open just so I can actually get in and out of things, but they will spawn from over this side around here. If you have actually set this amplifier, then it may change and they may spawn a bit further down, but I will be completely honest, I don't know 100% where they will spawn if you set this amplifier, so apologies for that. But for my setup at least, they will spawn around this amplifier, so they will head straight towards this, and they've got 2 directions to go in. Either way will fetch them to the same point. There are lots more timeout rooms, and there's more timeout rooms and things here with launchers at every point. If they make it past that lot, then they've got to come along here, which they get hit by the darts and the zappers, fall down here, and then they fall down here, hopefully get flung back up, and then they take more damage on the way. And then a broadside at the end just for good measure. I didn't have any problems whatsoever. I didn't have anything getting through at any point, so that was great. Now they can also spawn for this amplifier at the south over here, which you can see I've got a lot set up over here, possibly too much, but I wasn't sure over there whether they would be spawning for that amplifier from over that direction, so I set a load over there. So some of that possibly could be a bit overbuilt, but they will come from around here. If we get through here, they mainly seem to spawn down this point around here, so that is the main direction that they will go. I did set this up over here, which you get the occasional husk come through, and maybe the flingers, they might go as well, but you don't tend to get that many coming from this direction. They normally will spawn and come directly through here. I did set that little bit up there in case they wanted to go up, then they get flung straight back down on that. And over here then you do get another big sort of maze then that they've got to get through to come through. For the base on this one, I normally place the base around about this spot here, because that way then it strengthens that whole main area. Now as we head on over here to amplifier C, now you will get during this wave, there are a few different sort of war games things that will pop up. One of those is these big lava sort of things that appear. They tend to annoyingly destroy some of the trap tunnels of that, so you might need to go back around and rebuild some bits as you're going. As long as you don't put in your neon sniper defenders up there and wherever the other one is, I think it's up here somewhere. As long as you don't put them in, then you won't have to go and rebuild that entire lot like I did. But for amplifier C, they will come from either the south or the west, and with the south they will come, if I go up here, they will spawn from all the way over here around about this point. They normally spawn from around here, so I did put this up here in case they come up this way, and then they will meet up at the top there. Most of them will come through this direction and get through all of these, which is the joining point to that one. And you will get the occasional one then that will decide to take the longer route round and go round this way. So up here then we've got more darts and retractables and wall launchers to like fling them all back. So that side is pretty okay. Now with this side, this is the annoying side, because they seemed to like spawning in here. For some unknown reason they kept on spawning up at this point, because the main bulk was spawn down there, but you get the little tiny bit that spawns up here. So I placed all of this just in the hopes that it would like push them down, because we kept getting all the flingers would spawn up here and they would just bypass all the traps, and it was getting annoying. So I placed that there. If they happened to break that, which they did sometimes do, then they would have to come over this way through all of these traps first, and then they would fall down here, and they've got to get through all that. So it didn't tend to get any further than that. For the main area that they come though is down here. So if we get through this, so they've got to get through all of this from this side. to be able to get to the amplifier, and sometimes they will walk around this way and they will go up through here. Again, more timeout rooms, and that joins back on then to the other bit. Very occasionally they will even take the long way round, so I have set this bit up over here as well. Probably way too much for how little they actually spawn through it, but that is that side. So this one, I normally set my base around this point, because then it will strengthen this whole area up here and keeps all that strong. So then our last and final one which we've got is over here. And just for you to know, I normally place the base on this point because, again, it will strengthen pretty much all of this area. Now, with this one, they will spawn from over this direction. They will normally spawn around about here. So they will either go through there, they will go through the middle, or they might take the long route over there. They all join up at the same point, so it doesn't matter which direction they go, but they have to come through all of these then before they actually make it to Amplifier D. They don't tend to walk up this far and then come around this way. They normally will go through that bit. But if they do come up through this point, then they've got, of course, more launchers and broadsides and everything, and it would join then at this point here. And the same if they come over here, they've got all these timeout rooms as well. So generally they don't tend to make it very far. When you get near to the end of the endurance, around about sort of wave 23, 24 is when I found my traps started to run out. And when they run out, then of course they do make it that little bit further up. The smashers sometimes did make it up to this point here, but as soon as they got flung in there, they're normally dead anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much all my defenses that I've got set up. You better off doing everything in metal, because of course metal is the strongest. For your lobber shields, then do those in wood, because they're literally only to stop anything from being flung out at the amplifiers. If there's something blocking their path, they won't tend to chuck anything anyway. So I mean, I upgraded it to a level 2 structure wood, which you don't even need to do that, to be honest. But yeah, that is all of the defenses that I've got set up. I have this big ramp which I put up here, because what I tended to do, as long as you have your constructor and you just run down to whichever point it needs to be and place your base, then you can pretty much AFK the endurance anyway. But from this platform, you can keep an eye on everything. You can make sure that everything is going to plan, and also when you get your taker waves, if you stay up at this point, then they tend to get, I think, about as far as that, and then they generally, you know, they can't really go any higher to you, so you should be safe from takers as well. But yeah, that is pretty much my build. If you do use defenders, as I said earlier, make sure that you don't put any neon snipers or any obliterators or anything that shoots through walls, and then they won't go blowing up all the propane, because when you've got a massive trap tunnel full of propane, it makes a big explosion. But yeah, that is it. That is my defense. Hopefully it will help you out. It does take around about 2.5 hours to fully complete the endurance, and honestly, you don't get that greater rewards from it. They're all low level materials anyway. And if you're going ahead to do your Stonewood endurance, then the chances are you don't need those materials anyway. But it is fun to do. I've done it the once. I don't plan on doing it a second time because it takes so long, but at least it is done. But that is my Stonewood AFK Endurance. I hope it does help you out. If it does, don't forget to drop that like down below. Smash that subscribe before you go. And if you turn on the notification bell, and you'll always get updated of all my content when it comes out. But until the next time, I hope you have a lovely day and stay safe, my friends.